Messi. Messi. One is a trick, and Pat Garrity.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jacob Rudner here alongside Ariel Putterman. You're obviously noticing that Noah Cameras is not here this week. He is under the weather, but we hope to see him next week and we do wish that he get well soon. This week, dTSPN, we had a lot to talk about. Some great NFL stuff going on this weekend. Divisional round just happened and we're moving on to the conference championships. There were 4 really good games, except for one, and that's the one we're going to start with. That was the Seattle Seahawks against the Atlanta Falcons. It wasn't really close. Seattle struggled, and the Falcons looked fantastic this week. What can you tell us about that game?
Yes, Atlanta's offense is just too overpowering. Everyone scored. They had over 30 points. But I want to actually look at one drive this game. So Seattle's up 10-7 in the first half. They're about to get the ball back. And Devin Hester gets the ball on the punt return. He returns it 78 yards inside the 10. The only problem is Seattle had a penalty on the punt that got it called back into their own 10. So instead of being at Atlanta's 10, they're in their own 10. 2 plays later, Russell Wilson trips on his offensive lineman, and they get a safety. So I think that really changed the momentum of the game. I think that was the game-defining play.
I mean, for me also, I want to talk about how Devin Hester was such a factor in this game. Had that penalty not happened, I think Devin Hester goes down as the MVP of that game because he single-handedly had the performance of a lifetime in this one, and he ran wild against the Falcons. But also something I want to talk about is the lack of Seattle offense. There was no real offense that we saw from Seattle. Also, their defense was pretty lackluster this week. I mean, it was not a good game. Is this something that we should expect moving forward, or was it just a fluke game for them?
I think it was a fluke game. Like I said, this defense is insane. They're one of the top. They've been one of the top for a long time. I think they were really missing Earl Thomas. Jeremy Lane got hurt in that game. So I think when they have that healthy team next year, they're going to be that same dominant defense that we've seen.
Moving on to the next blowout of the weekend, we have the Patriots and the Texans. We knew the Patriots were going to win that game. Yeah. I mean, it was the spreads told the entire story. About 4 minutes after the Patriots won, and we determined that they were playing the Texans after the wild card round. But I mean, it wasn't even close. The Patriots completely blew them out. They got off to a little bit of a slow start before halftime, but after halftime, it was crazy. I mean, Dion Lewis, what a fantastic game. He made history this weekend with a receiving and punt return and kick return touchdown. Fantastic job from the Patriots as a whole. What do the Patriots need to do this coming week to continue their success, and what can we take away from this past game?
I think they just got to keep playing like they have been playing, because they're always going to be a top team. They've got Brady, they've got Belichick, they've got an actually really solid defense. They've got Blunt, who can score touchdowns. So I think they've just got to keep running that ball, keep throwing that ball, and keep getting those wins.
So moving on to the NFC on Sunday, we have the Cowboys and the Packers. This was probably the best football game I've seen in a very long time. It came down to Mason Crosby, who was captain clutch in the last 2 minutes of the game, coming down with 2 super long field goals at 51 yards and 56 yards to win the game. Rodgers was just Rodgers this weekend. I mean, the Packers are at their best when Aaron Rodgers is playing like himself, and we definitely saw that this weekend. What can we come away with for them and for the Cowboys?
Well, for the Packers, if they want to win against the Falcons, they've just got to keep throwing that ball. Aaron Rodgers, he knows how to win games. He knows how to find an open receiver. He's just an amazing player, so they've just got to keep finding that guy. And then on the Cowboys, they've got a really, really bright future. They've got Dak Prescott, he's still a rookie. Ezekiel Elliott, he's still a rookie. That insane offensive line, so that's going to be good. Then if they get some defensive players in the draft this year, or trade or sign someone a free agent, then they could be a really good team. They could be a dynasty even.
So moving on to the final game of the divisional round, we have the Chiefs and the Steelers. 2 teams who have been having great seasons this year. The Chiefs look very impressive going into the playoffs, and as well as the Steelers did, who are on a super hot streak, winning their past 9 games, I believe it is. Could be 8. But what I really want to talk about right now is what is the next step for the Chiefs. I mean, they lost this one. It could have come down to penalties, but we're not really sure. But what we did know is that they're lost, no matter how you cut it up. So what is next for them for next season and moving forward from here?
I think they've got a good future. I think that on defense they're good. They've got Justin Houston, they've got Eric Berry, they've got Marcus Peters. And then on offense, if Jamal Charles comes back, that's always a big bonus. Tyreek Hill really proved himself this year. Alex Smith is always a reliable option. So maybe sign someone during free agency, but I think that they have a bright future.
Next segment, we are going to just talk about what's going to go on in the conference round of the NFL playoffs, and we just want to give our predictions for who's going to win exactly like we've done last week. Our first game is going to be Packers-Falcons, the NFC game. Who do you have winning the game and why?
I think the Falcons are going to win. I think it's a game of offense versus offense, and I think that the Falcons' offense is the better one. So I think that the Falcons are going to have it, but I do expect Aaron Rodgers to have a big game, especially if Jordy comes back.
For me, I'm going to give Jordy the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to have him playing this game. And for that reason alone, I can't pick against the Packers because they're just so hot right now. Aaron Rodgers looks fantastic, and he's single-handedly going to win that game for them, so I'm going to go Packers. Our final game of the divisional round, we have the Steelers and the Patriots. Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady, two guys who have held the Super Bowl title for the AFC for the past 13 some odd years since 2004. They've been the stronghold between those two teams. Who do you think is going to win the game?
I'm actually going to go with the upset, and I'm going to say the Steelers. I think that offense is going to click again, even though they didn't do much last week. I think the Patriots, I think it's going to be a close game, but I just don't think the Patriots have enough. I think that the Steelers, they're going to step up on defense like they have the last 2 weeks, and I think the Patriots offense is just going to not do what they used to do, and Steelers are going to win this one.
I'm actually going to disagree with you, and here's why. I think that the Patriots are just the better team. I think that Tom Brady has more experience than Ben Roethlisberger, not by much. But really, for me, it's going to come down to the fact that Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and he's going to make the Patriots look fantastic. Patriots defense has been great lately. They've looked strong regular season and postseason. I'm not going to pick against them, so I have Patriots, Packers in the Super Bowl. Finally, we have one of the most hot topics of the NBA right now. I just want to talk to you a little bit about, and you guys obviously too, so make sure you comment your opinions about what we're about to talk about in the comments below. Harden or Westbrook? I mean, it's a hot debate right now. Which one is the better player? I want to hear who you have, and then we'll talk about it. Who do you have?
I think right now it's got to be James Harden. Here's how I look at it. Last year, Rockets, they were the 8th seed. They didn't look like they had a positive future. This year, they're the 3 seed. James Harden, he's scoring, he's passing it, he's leading this team to wins. I think that he's actually leading the league in assists. I think that when it comes to who's the most valuable player, it's Harden.
I mean, but here's the thing for me, and it's that Russell Westbrook is and I'm taking Russell Westbrook if you couldn't tell already, but for me it's going to be that Russell Westbrook is the more aggressive player. When it comes down to defense and it comes down to all-around basketball, Russell Westbrook is the more aggressive player. He's going to be the one that goes down to the other side of the court and gets the blocks, plays the lockdown defense, steals, whatever. James Harden is such a lazy defender, and it's upsetting to watch actually for me because he does not put the effort in on the other side of the court, and for me that alone puts Westbrook on top. And then also, if you just look at the stats, Westbrook's been better. Westbrook is around the same amount of points as Harden. He's averaging more rebounds. He's averaging more assists. I mean, he's just been the better player. Triple-double machine. I don't even see how you can argue against Russell Westbrook this season.
Well, I think that stats isn't everything. Obviously, Russell Westbrook has those incredible stats. But when you look at it, Harden, he has Ryan Anderson, Eric Gordon, not that great. And he's still the 3rd seed.
Right, but the Thunder don't have the same amount. They have the same lack of talent as the Rockets
I think the
do,
Thunder
if
have
not
more
less.
talent. I think the Thunder have more talent, and they're the 7th seed. So they're clearly not getting the wins, while the Rockets are. And it's not even like they have a talented head coach. Mike D'Antoni, we saw what he did with the Lakers. He did nothing. He got fired from the Knicks before the Lakers. So it's not even like they have a talented coach. I think that Harden is really taking advantage. And keep in mind, he switched to a point guard, which he's never played before this season. So he's still learning that role. So to be able to do this, it's just ridiculous.
But I want you to tell me now, honestly, if you were to give somebody the title of the best all-around basketball player, and that includes defense, that includes on and off the court, you're going to give that to James Harden right now?
Yes, I still think so. And I think that it's not who has the best stats. That's not who the MVP is.
But I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about pure aggression and pure heart on the defensive side of the ball. And even on offense, I don't see the same aggression out of James Harden as you do Russell Westbrook on offense or on defense. I think that Westbrook is just a more aggressive, more talented, and he's going to pursue the ball more than James Harden's going to.
But I think it comes down to who can win that game. I think that the Warriors, since they're the better team, they've got those 4 people, so they can't really decide. The Spurs, Kawhi's been good, but he doesn't have the stats to back it up. So that leaves Harden at the 3. I think that he can have the stats and the wins to back it up. While Westbrook, he has the stats, but he just doesn't have the wins.
We will have to see who's going to win the MVP, if it's one of them at all. We've had a great time talking to you guys this week on dTSPN. Before we wrap up the episode, though, we do want to mention that we still have the MacBook Pro contest in play. To be involved in that, all you got to do is subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is @dTSPN, and Instagram is dTSPN 2015. We hope you have a good one, and we'll see you next week.